What's up, everybody? It is Christian. Welcome back to the channel. And as you know, this is the #1 destination to be for all of your Survivor recaps and reviews. I, for one, am extra happy after this episode's results, and if you know me and you've seen my other videos, you know exactly why. Somebody came crashing down, and I'm assuming if you're watching this, you already know who it is. Rome, you're gone, buddy. You're out of here. 3 strikes, you're out. This was a fun episode because we also now no longer have tribes. We are merged, the merged tribe. Okay, so let's start things off again. As we always do, we run down the list. Who's left? Who's here? Who do we have playing the game? We've got Outta, Andy, Rachel, Sierra, Sam. Of course, Annika voted out at the last tribal council. On Tuku, it's Kyle, Tiana, Sue, Gabe, and Caroline. On Lavo, we've got Teeny, Rome, Genevieve, and Saul. And that is the 3 tribes going into this episode, of course, as we just came off of an elimination of one of the members of Outta. And so we come back from where we left off in the last episode, and we get Outta on their campgrounds. Sierra comes back and has a confessional saying, well, they can't say that this season is boring because, of course, drama's already ensued. It wasn't just the breadwinners running roughshod over the entire Outta tribe. Actually, it ended up being Sierra and Sam who pulled in Andy to pull off the move of getting Annika out. So, of course, as you know, what has to happen next? The next thing, of course, is that you're going to have to do some damage control, because how on earth is Rachel meant to trust you going forward? As now she feels like she's at the bottom. She was in this breadwinners with Sierra and Annika, but now Annika just got eliminated. So what does this mean for Rachel? On the other side of things, you have Andy, who's ecstatic about being able to pull off that blind side. He's a real fan of it. And I've said in the last review that I did that I'm starting to think that, Andy's a little bit crazy, like really crazy. Just the way that he processes things, the way he said, I've been burying you since this game started, and this is your headstone to Annika. And we'll get to his little confessional at this tribal council too. This guy, you gotta watch him. He gets a lot of pleasure from things that bring others displeasure. Well, I'll say that. Yeah. So there you got Andy. You got Sierra going over to Rachel, explaining things like, hey, I loved Ani. I was as close to her as you are, and I really loved her. It wasn't anything personal against her. I just saw that was the best move for my game going forward. And Rachel, of course, she's like, it's okay, I get it. It's a game and everything. And honestly, that's the best thing for Rachel to say, right? Because what are you gonna do? You're gonna complain, you're gonna whine and say, you should have let me know, whatever. And then you're already at the bottom. They don't know at this point that they're going to be merged. And it just sets a bad, bad energy in the air regarding your name. This is even more of a driving force why you would be gone next. So Rachel just goes with it, lets it fly, whatever. So Rachel says everything's fine. We get the intro, all of that, and when we come back, it is morning time, and we're still on Outta camp, and morning time, they see a boat sailing in, like a little boat coming in on the water, and they're like, you see that boat in the water? I'm like, yeah. but it's not coming towards us. And they start studying it and looking at it more, and they're like, wait a minute, it is coming towards us. And so yeah, the boat does end up coming there, and on the boat is a note that says, the game is about to change. Drop your buffs. And everybody, when they hear that sound, you know, that's like, I don't know, the trumpets from heaven playing above when you hear that on the game of Survivor, because that means that you've made it to a certain point that not a lot of people can say that they've made it to. And you are just that much closer to being the winner of Survivor, getting to the finale. You know what I mean? At least, you know, you are at this point one vote away from the jury, because we're still in Mergatory. Pre-Mergatory, we are at the point where they don't have their buffs, but so they're all one collective, but they haven't gotten the new merge tribe buff. And so yeah, we just see the reactions of everybody. We start with Gotza, then we go over and see what's it called, we see Lavo get the note, and they drop their buffs. Teeny says she's happy about this change because she was nervous with the way things stood after the Keyshawn vote, and she wasn't so sure about where she stood in this hierarchy of everything on that tribe. So this was good for her. We get to Tuku, they read the note, everybody drops their buffs, and they're all happy too. They are officially at the pre-merge. One thing that we do learn here at Tuku is that everybody's going to be coming to Tuku's camp. So all of the remaining competitors who are merged, soft merged, we'll put merged in quotations, all of those people, they'll be living their life on Tuku, and that will be the camp going forward. Now that everybody has arrived there, you got Gata and Lavo, so this is the first time everybody's kind of interacting, mingling with each other. Now that everybody's there, they get another note, and this note says, you know, tomorrow everybody is going to compete in a grueling challenge to decide who does officially make the merge. And before we get to this challenge, there's an advantage hidden on the island. You guys gotta find it. Whoever finds it is going to have an advantage in this this challenge coming up. So, and everybody goes on a wild goose chase. You know, everything gets chaotic. They're looking, but after a while, a lot of them stop looking. We cut to this scene where Saul and Sue are talking to each other. We just see all of the different interactions going on, and then Genevieve and Sam come across this floating buoy, but they decide to leave it. Sam says, no, I don't really think that's anything, so let's just step away from here. And that's what they did. They left it alone, surprisingly enough. You think no stone left unturned, right? Like, this could very well be where the advantage is. Why would you not, you know, at least try to check it out? Andy mingling with the new tribe mates. Yeah, everybody is trying to get in there. While this is going on, everybody has kind of halted their search for the advantage at this point. They're all just kind of walking as a collective, searching around the Tuku camp, getting familiar with everything, because obviously they haven't been there before. And while they do that, they come across the water well, and in the water well, or around the water well area, we remember what happened a few episodes ago. Is that blood in your hair, that thing? Where this pot smashed and the red paint splattered everywhere. And remember, Sue tried to do her best to cover it up. Well, it turns out she really didn't do that great of a job of covering it up, because everybody finds all the red paint everywhere. And when they're seeing all this red paint, Caroline is in that group of people, so is Tiana, but Caroline notices it, and when she sees that, she remembers the red paint that she saw on Sue that day. But she's not actually mad at Sue, surprisingly enough. and I think it is because they have grown so close. They are like a real strong duo that she knows that that's her ally, and Caroline actually feels proud. She's like, hey, you know what? Sue is actually playing this game. So yeah, she definitely is playing the game, because in that other clip that I forgot to mention, the one where Saul was talking with Sue again mentions that she's 45, continuing that lie going about her age. I don't know why she feels the need to lie about it. I mean, I guess I understand why she tries to say that she's younger than she is, for just for reasons of not wanting to get voted off for being weak or whatever. But at the same time, she doesn't really pass her 45, so it's just not working out, man. Yeah. And so after everybody's doing that collective, we cut back to Genevieve, and Genevieve's like, hey, that thing that I saw with Sam earlier, what a crazy idea. I'm just throwing it at the wall here. What if that actually is the advantage? And so Genevieve goes back there, and she finds the advantage attached to it. So yeah, Genevieve has the advantage. She's gonna have some type of thing going on, and let's see here. Yeah, so she has some sort of advantage that Jeff's, of course, going to explain once they get to the challenge tomorrow. Another part that we get, right? I told you Caroline noticed the red paint, remembering the scene. I told you Tiana was there earlier as well with Caroline. So she saw everybody noticing the red paint. But Tiana's not as accepting of it. She's like, huh, she was hiding this from us. Well, I never really felt good with Sue anyway. So I'm gonna, remember this and maybe keep this to my advantage as we go along. I think that's a good idea. Tuku did not trust her. There's that Gabe, Sue, Caroline trio, and then it kind of seemed like Kyle and Tiana were a bit of free agents. But Gabe, Kyle, and Tiana were working together, but that one was very loosely. It didn't feel locked in. So yeah, I think she's smart to kind of move on from Tuku and maybe look for allies elsewhere. And so here we go to set the table of the eventual tribal, and really the whole main storyline of this episode. Enter Rome, and we see Rome is up to his old tricks, what he was doing on Lava with Saul. He goes and talks to Sue to try to get info out of her, because he's just always trying to gather information. He thinks he's this mastermind, but his style of quote-unquote manipulation is so transparent that it's not effective whatsoever. He doesn't realize that, though. He's very naive to it. He just has these delusions of grandeur. But anyway, what I mean when I say that this is where it all starts, with Rome, you get Rome talking to Sue, trying to get info out of her, and he shares with her that he thinks that maybe they should go after Kyle, because Kyle was saying that Sue was a threat, and it flashes back to Kyle and Rome talking last night, but that's not exactly what he said. He did mention that Sue and Caroline were a bit inseparable. They're kind of like a mother-daughter duo. And then he also said that But then Rome also says that Kyle says that Sam was dangerous, which I didn't really hear. I heard that he thought that Sam was apparently running the show on Gotcha, which was just word of mouth that he had been told. He was just kind of just talking, but he wasn't really like gaming like that. And Rome tried to flip it into something else. And so Rome kind of gets this collective together of Sue, Sam, and Tiana, just telling them all this story about Kyle, how, you know, he said that about Sue, and then he said that about Sam. And the thing is, when Tiana hears this about from Rome, Tiana's like, that doesn't sound right. Like, that, it doesn't sit right with her, because she knows who Kyle is, that he's like expressed himself to be. And so that instantly makes her not believe Rome, which was the opposite of the intention of Rome. Rome was trying to create dissent within their tribe, but at the whole time, she just doesn't believe Rome. And Sam doesn't believe Rome either. Sue did initially believe Rome, but that's only because she didn't like Kyle from before, because he wrote her name down at another tribe. So she's got her own beef going on with Kyle, but he's a nice dude, man. And he's not the same type of grimy player that Rome is. So yeah. Man, Rome really thinks he's setting something up here. But Tiana runs back and tells everybody about it, Andy and Saul and all them, and Saul's is like, no, that's not true. This is the same thing that he tried to pull back on Labo with me. It's like everything that could go wrong for Rome is going wrong for Rome, and I just love it, man. I am just thoroughly enjoying this moment. I've been waiting all 4 or 5 seasons so far, not 4 or 5 seasons, 4 or 5 episodes so far to get to this point, and we are at this point, and I just loving every moment of it. So yeah, Saul talks to Kyle, tells Kyle, and Kyle's mad. He's like, "What? I didn't say that." And you know, he has what you call like a indoor angry voice, because he gets angry, but his voice still sounds like he's trying to keep it indoor voice, like he doesn't want his mom to hear him, whatever. He's just he's a nice dude, man. I like Kyle. Yeah, Kyle, Teeny, Sue, Genevieve, Tiana, Sam, they're all sitting around the well, and they're like, we gotta get Rome out, man. This guy's just causing nothing but chaos, and I love to see that. So, we get to reward/immunity, and this is the part, remember, where they're going to be split into 2 teams. The winning team gets reward. Then, of the winning team, they each compete individually for a shot at immunity for the night. So only one person's going to be safe at this tribal, but 6 people will eat and 6 people won't. I think 7 people eat, because I'm pretty sure the person that was having the advantage, Genevieve, got to eat as well. And the way that her advantage worked was, she is the way that her advantage worked is that she does not have to compete in the team part of the challenge. She just automatically skips ahead to individual immunity. So that's really great. She doesn't have to get in the mud like the challengers will on the teams. And they actually do a schoolyard pick for this, where they randomly draw captains, but for some reason it ended up getting cut from the show, I guess. But luckily enough, I do have pulled up here the results of what happened in that schoolyard pick, and it looks like by a random draw, Teeny and Tiana were selected as the captains. So Teeny was on the yellow team, and then you got Tiana on the blue team. So the way that it ended up going, the first 4 picks in order, as per Entertainment Weekly here, were Sam, Gabe, Kyle, and Saul. So you got Teeny chose Sam, Tiana chose Gabe from her old tribe, of course, that makes sense. Then you got Teeny choosing Kyle, and Tiana choosing Saul. And it doesn't say too much more after that of the order, but it does say that the last 2 picks were Sue was the second to last, and the last pick was Andy, which is just funny because it's like, he had that big blow up in the first challenge of feeling like he wasn't accepted, nobody liked him, and now this reconfirmation that is where he stands because he's still getting chosen last in things. I don't know, man, but it's just strange they decided not to show it. I guess time constraints and everything, but yeah, that's the teams. You got yellow, Sue, Teeny, Kyle, Sam, Sierra, Rachel. Blue team, you got Rome, Saul, Caroline, Gabe, Tiana, and Andy. It came down to it. Of course, it ends up being with the puzzle at the end. And for some reason on the blue team, they decide to leave Rome and Gabe in as the they decide to leave Rome and Gabe in as the people to close it out. And I guess it's not exactly a puzzle, but it's close to a puzzle because it's like the ball thing where you have to avoid the holes and get it into the middle. So yeah, and for some reason they decide to let Rome do that type of thing again when he's kind of proven at this point that he's not good at that. So yeah, the yellow team ends up winning it. Was it Sam and Kyle that finished it? I don't know, whoever it was, but they got it done. So yeah, yellow team gets reward. That means they get the feast, and they get to compete in this immunity challenge. So immunity challenge, of course, is now between the team that won. So Sue, Teeny, Kyle, Sam, Sierra, Rachel, but then you also got Genevieve in there as well because of course she was safe. And it's one of those ones where they have to balance a ball on like a protractor looking thing. That's honestly the best way I can describe it. Looks like a protractor with a ball at the top. They have to balance there, and they're also standing on a beam. After every, I think, like 30 minutes or something, or 10 minutes, whatever it is, they have to step down a notch until they're all the way at the bottom. Just making it tougher and tougher as time goes along. Okay, so Sierra drops out first, shortly followed by Sam. A little bit more time passes. Then Rachel is out, Genevieve is out, and Teeny is out. We get down to just Kyle and Sue. This is a tough showdown. They both make it all the way to the last run. They are locked in, both of them. You can see they look firm, they look solid, but Sue does end up dropping last, meaning Kyle wins it. Kyle's happy. He said, he's doing this all for his family, and he's just happy to make them proud and all that. And it's great. Of course, I'd love to see this. As I said before, Kyle's one of my favorites on the season, so I love to see that. After the challenge, after Kyle wins, we get back to camp, and Rome is kind of thinking to himself. He's like, I guess my Kyle plan went out the window. But you know who I can always try to put it on? Since it's not Kyle, well, reliable Saul, I'm gonna try and throw it on him. Unbeknownst to Rome, everybody, and I mean everybody, is saying that the plan is Rome tonight. So you got Saul saying it, Teeny, Genevieve, who else? You got Caroline, Sam, Rachel. Everybody's like, yeah, he's gone tonight. We're getting Rome out. The thing is with this is that they also want to have a contingency plan in case that Rome somehow has an idol or some sort of advantage to get himself out of this. And so with that, they decide that the second person will be Andy. They really play this up. The edit's really making fun of Rome. They are showing everybody saying Rome, while Rome, it keeps coming back to Rome. It's like, my master plan. Everybody's, things can't be going better for me right now. And the whole time, the audience at home, it's that dramatic irony that the viewers know something that the character does not. And he doesn't know anything at all about what's really going on right now. So it's just setting up for something great. He keeps bragging about how everybody is, about how things are just going his way. And he thinks he's good going into tribal. Once we get to tribal, the topics Jeff brings up, there usually is a bit of pettiness to them. He has an idea of what's going on, and production is made to put things in such a way that they make sense to the episode at hand. There's a heavy emphasis on blind sides and somebody not seeing something coming. Rome is kind of the center of attention, and he gets a chance to sit in Jeff's seat and do a little bit of a hosting, and he just is on cloud 9 right now. So when we get to the vote, we get there, and Rome has been so up in his delusion that he really thinks things are going his way. He even gets to a point where he says, Saul's going home. I'm glad. I don't want that guy in the jury. I'm just gonna give him one vote here, just cause. And he writes down Sam's name. He says, just to stir up a little chaos. But the other people, they split their votes between Rome and Andy, with the obvious majority being for Rome. And it gets read out. It's like, first vote, Sam. Next vote, Andy. Rome. Andy. Rome. Sixth person voted out, Rome. And you could see, he's like, wow, that hurts. He was completely blindsided about it, but I loved every moment of it. This has been my favorite episode of Survivor 47 up to now, and I am just so excited. This game has become a lot more enjoyable to watch as a viewer at home for me. I'm rooting for Saul. I like Kyle. I like Genevieve. I like Tiana. Any of those people, any of those four, doing their thing, and I still like Rachel too. I like Rachel as well. Any of them, if they do well, I'm doing well. If you guys enjoyed my recap of this episode and you want to see more, leave a like on it, comment down below what you thought. What were your opinions of this episode? And click the subscribe button, or consider clicking the subscribe button with the bell next to it, so you get updated every single time that I upload. I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you have a great day. Bye.